I have a bold prediction, or what I hope will at least be a self fulfilling prophecy of sorts. I believe we're entering the age of authenticity. You see, think about social media right now. Social media is so far from anything real. It's so far from any reality. We see just the best of everyone's lives. We see the prettiest photos. We see all the smiles and happy celebrations. And so often we miss what's really true and real in social media. And by the way, I think that's okay. I think it's all right for social media to be fun and maybe a little fantasy filled. But it's not real, it's not true, and we know it. So we watch reality TV sometimes, but again, it's not real. It's very loosely based on any form of reality. Even the news we watch today is often not news. It's often based on everything but what is true. So I feel, or hope at least, that we're entering this age of authenticity. And authenticity is a word that sometimes comes and brings up some mixed emotions. But really, to me, authenticity is just about what is real and what is true. And when we think about bringing our authentic selves forward into the world, being real, being true, I believe that that's our life's work, to figure out exactly what that is. Because we're often told to be authentic, to be real, but until we really understand who we are, what we believe, what we stand for, who we are at our core, it's hard to really show up in a real way. It's really hard to show up authentically. So job number one, and I believe job number one from beginning to the end of our life, meaning it never stops, is to get to the core of who we really are. So who are you? It's not so easy to just come up with a quick answer, is it? For instance, I'm a high performance coach. But if I wasn't a high performance coach, would I still be me? Well, I'm Grant Muller. If my name wasn't Grant Muller, would I still be me? I'm a Pomeranian dad. If I didn't have Pomeranians, would I still be me? Of course. There's a core of me that's somewhere deeper. And so I think it's our job to spend our lives discovering who that is at our core. There are 5 ways that I can suggest might help you get to the core of who you are. Number 1, be quiet. Be still. In that stillness and in that quiet, we can start to let go of some of the exterior noise, if you will, some of the distractions. And we can start allowing ourselves to get centered and a little bit true about who we are. So for you, that might mean getting quiet by meditating for 15 or 20 minutes a day, allowing that stillness and that quiet to reveal who we are. Similar to how a sculptor reveals the shape within the big stone by removing things. In that meditation, we can remove the noise, the distraction, the ego. But maybe meditation doesn't work for you. For you, it might be praying. It might be going for a run. It might be going for a paddle. It might be listening to music or going for a hike. But find the quiet. The quiet doesn't have to be silence. The quiet, hopefully, though, is less thought. It's less energy expended intellectualizing about who we are. And rather, it just creates some stillness so that we can see what seeps in. The second way to discover who we are is to get curious. I wonder why I reacted that way. I wonder why I have fallen in love with this person. I wonder why I enjoy this type of work. I wonder why I prefer this music and not this music. I wonder why I've always chosen this particular breed of dog to love and own. I wonder why I enjoy this particular hobby. I wonder why I vote this way. I wonder why I have these deeply held beliefs. I wonder why I moved spiritually in this way and not in this way. Be playful. Be curious. Think of yourself as a mystery to unfold, a mystery to solve. Get curious. Number 3 is get humble, because we can't really discover who we are while our ego is in the way. I happen to be an ego-driven person. I think it's okay. My ego is healthy, and I enjoy my ego. I play with it, I dance with it, but I don't let it run me. And being humble and finding some humility is a key part about discovering who we are. Because if we think we have all of the answers about who we are, then we don't leave room to discover the pieces of who we are that maybe we aren't immediately evident. And by the way, when we do this work and we do it humbly, we will also find pieces of who we are that we might not love. In fact, we might find pieces of who we are that terrify us or that send us into feelings of guilt or shame. So be open to that. Be humble about discovering who you are, and you might surprise yourself. And I bet also most of the surprises will be very happy surprises. So leave your ego at the door. Bring some humility into the process and get open about who you might be. The 4th way to help you discover who you are, who the heck are you, is to get experimental. And experiment with what you like or what you don't like, but also experiment with what drives you and doesn't drive you, what inspires you or doesn't inspire you. Get experimental. Put yourself in different situations. But also get experimental about the way you think about things. What would be a different way I could think about this particular topic? Or what would be a different way I could approach this problem today? Or what would be a different way I could get my work done today? Well, would I maybe enjoy doing my toughest work from noon to 1 every day instead of having lunch at that time? Am I not a morning person? Maybe I'm a late night owl and I didn't know it. Have you ever tried? Have you ever tried to get your most important work done from 2 to 3 a.m. every morning? Now that's extreme, but what if the most magical part of you, the most powerful essence of you, likes to exist at 2 to 3 a.m. and you've never known it because you've never checked in to see if that's the case? Again, it's an extreme example, but you get my point. What if you're the kind of writer that likes to write in a noisy setting where lots of hustle bustle is happening so that it inspires you and gives you energy, and that's a much better place for you to write that next novel instead of writing it in a quiet cabin in the woods, which might be what most people suggest. Maybe you like to sit in a noisy airport terminal with your headset on and type away, but you feel inspired by the motion around you. You'll never know unless you try, so get experimental. What project are you working on right now that isn't moving forward the way you'd like it to? And if you got experimental, what are some different ways you could approach that work to see if maybe it moves you differently? Maybe you need to put things up on a whiteboard. Maybe you need a Trello board. Trello, Trello.com. It's a great way to visualize your work. Maybe you're a visual person and you're not giving yourself enough visual cues. Maybe you need to work by sorting through difficult problems on a hike and talking into your iPhone recorder. I don't know. Get experimental. Have fun with it. And that's number 5. Get adventurous. Try new things. What have you done lately that you feel is totally out of your character? What is something that you think is just totally against everything you've believed in? To a limit, of course. Respect your boundaries. But what is something that you haven't tried that you should try? I'll give you some basic examples. This is not mind-blowing, but what if you drove home today a different path than you usually do? What if you pumped your gas at a different gas station than you usually do? What if you found a different Starbucks to stop at than you usually do? Silly, silly examples. But there are other bigger, more meaningful ways to be adventurous as well. What if you spoke with someone at the next event that you would never think of approaching and speaking to? What if you had a conversation with someone that you completely disagree with on some core issues? That's also getting adventurous. That's also tapping into a piece of you that maybe you haven't tapped into before. So have fun with that, but be adventurous. Try something different. These are 5 different ways that you can get to, who am I? It's a fun question. There are many different ways that you can answer this question. There are many different ways to dig into this deeper, and it's a big piece of what we do in group coaching. But here's a way to do it by yourself. So again, get quiet, get curious, get humble, get experimental, get adventurous, have fun, and dig into who the heck are you?